Boo! I didn't mean to scare you. I don't have any foundation on, or any makeup for that matter, because today we're going to talk about the new NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. I'm going to review this, I'm going to demo it. Before I start talking about that though, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I made some more adjustments to my lighting and I think this is much better than yesterday. After I uploaded that video yesterday, the ColourPop haul video and review, it occurred to me that if I took everything off this table that I sit at and moved the table to the center of the room, I would get better lighting. And so I think this is better. All right, so now that bookcase that you used to see only a little tiny part of before, now you can see the whole thing, but you can't read the book titles that are on there. I don't know. Anyway, so, all right. Oh, I just wanted to also say thank you so much for all your very kind and interesting comments yesterday in yesterday's video. I was so shocked that so many of you guys also get the migraines. I had done some research about it, and they made it sound like hardly anybody gets migraines statistically, but that can't be true because otherwise, I mean, think about it. I have 5,000 and something subscribers on YouTube, and then only a certain percentage of those people actually watch the videos, and then only a certain percentage of those people leave comments. So what are the odds that that many people in the comments section said, oh, I get migraines too? So I think there's actually a lot more people out there that get migraines than what the people who keep track of these things think. So you can certainly understand then what I'm talking about when I say that if I get a migraine, no video that day. That just wipes you out. But yeah, thank you so much for all your kindness and comments in yesterday's video. All right, let's get to the business at hand. NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. When I first saw that this was launching, I saw that it had an eyedropper on the top, I immediately was thinking, oh wow, I just reviewed the hard candy mix-in drops, so it's probably going to be like that. No, it is not. It looks like it would be, but this is not a mixing product. This is a standalone foundation, and NYX does not claim that it's any kind of a mixing thing like the Cover FX drops that are sold at Sephora or the hard candy mixing drops that are sold at Walmart. NYX does not claim that this is that type of product. This is just a foundation, and that's all it is. It's not super pigmented. That's why you can't mix it with your other foundations. If you did, you would have to use a ton of this if you were trying to do some kind of color adjusting. So don't expect it to be that. This is a standalone foundation and should be reviewed as such. This is $14 at Ulta, or you can buy it on the NYX website. And it comes in 14 shades at Ulta. However, if you do not see a shade that matches you, on the NYX website, they have 24 shades. So there are a lot more shades available. It's just Ulta doesn't have the shelf space to carry that many shades. I was very lucky. This is the shade Light. It is a perfect match for me. I was really, really lucky. As soon as I saw the display, and there was hardly anything on it, apparently people must have been waiting like vultures to try this, because I have had this for a few days now and have been testing it out. And even when I got to the display, there was hardly anything on it. But fortunately, this one bottle of the shade Light was sitting there, and I picked it up and I was like, yep, I think this is it. I think this is my shade. So thank goodness they did have a shade in store that would work for me. So, like I said, it has an eyedropper on it. It is a very, very thin, watery consistency. And I would recommend that you give this a good shake before you use it, because it would have a tendency to separate, I would think. You should actually do that with any foundation that you use, but I don't always think to do it, but it is something that you should do. I just wanted to mention, getting back to the shade selection, just in case you're curious. This is the fourth lightest shade that Ulta carries. So believe it or not, there are 3 shades lighter than this, which is to say that the shade range is pretty impressive. On the NYX website, this is the 5th lightest shade. So there are 4 shades lighter than this on the NYX website. And then obviously there are a ton more shades darker than this at Ulta or the website. But the shade range is very, very impressive. I think that you will find that no matter what your skin tone is, you will find something that is going to suit you rather well, which is so nice, because a lot of times companies release foundations and then they release it in like 4 or 5 colors, and come on, that's not going to work for most people. So yeah, I was really impressed with the shade selection. So I have been playing around with this for a few days, and the conclusion that I have come to is that you must use this with a makeup brush. I have been using a Zoeva brush in number 102 Silk Finish. So just use whatever you normally use for a makeup brush will be fine. But this is not a foundation that is going to work with a beauty blender or any type of makeup sponge. That's how I started. I started with my beauty blender. And I started applying it and I was like, oh, this is crap. It's not even showing up. It's not doing anything. It's like putting water on my face. Well, that's because I was using it with a sponge and the makeup was just going deep down into the sponge and it wasn't transferring to my face at all. So after doing that, later in the day, I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. I should use it again tomorrow with a brush, and it was completely different after that, which you will see. I'm going to demo this for you. So don't use a sponge or a beauty blender if you have one, because it's not going to work. So the texture of the foundation will dictate what tool you use to apply it. For example, L'Oreal just came out with a brand new foundation, which is also good, that I enjoy. And it's a very, very thick foundation. That is the opposite of this, in the sense that it works great with a beauty blender, but not so good with a makeup brush. So you kind of have to have both if you're going to play with different foundation types. So I think, what else do I need to tell you about this? Oh, the finish. It's a matte finish, and therefore can be a little drying. I don't find it to be, I have normal to dry skin, and I don't find it to be drying out my skin to the point where it's causing any dry patches or anything like that. So I think if you have dry skin, as long as you use a moisturizer on your face after you get out of the shower in the morning, you shouldn't have any problems. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you have oily skin, you're probably going to love this because it's a little drying, so it's probably going to work great for you. I think that's it as far as info. Yes, okay, so all I have put on so far is I moisturize my lips with my Lip Smacker strawberry flavored lip balm. And I put on my Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, and this is the original formula. I like using a primer. I don't really like putting my foundation on my bare skin. That's just the way I do it. So this is what I have on. If you want something similar to this, I would say the drugstore version of this would maybe be the Maybelline Baby Skin, is the closest thing I can think of to this if you're interested. All right. let's get started. So, gonna give this foundation a shake. And then what I do is I loosen the cap, set it down on the table so that I don't spill it, and kind of fluff up my makeup brush bristles. I squeeze, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I don't want to spill it. Very liquidy. If you did spill it, it would make a huge mess. So what I'm doing right now is I'm squeezing the eyedropper, the top of the eyedropper, with my thumb and forefinger, and then letting go. And what that's doing is it's drawing the product up into the eyedropper. And then I'm gonna center it over the makeup brush, and I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4 drops onto the makeup brush. And then I'm just gonna buff that into my skin. And you have to work fast, you guys. This is a matte finish foundation, so it's going to set quickly. So I'm going to do half my face with this. I'm going to put a little bit in my eye area. Okay, so I just thought of one more thing I wanted to tell you about this. The coverage is adjustable. You can put a little bit on, and it will be the equivalent of like tinted moisturizer, but it won't be moist. Or you can put a medium amount on and get medium coverage, or you can build it up to full coverage. However, the more you build it up, the odder it's going to become on your skin. I don't really like putting a ton of this on because it starts to look a little odd. Not cakey, just, I can't even really describe or think of the word that I'm trying to say, but it just makes it look less like skin once you build it up. So I put 4 drops on my brush, do half my face as quickly as I can, and then do the same on the other side, and then I'll show you the end result. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to start in that part of my face because I have a lot of redness there. Okay, so it covered up most but not all of my redness, which is okay. You know, sometimes I don't want full coverage. Sometimes I want a more natural look. It can be a little more youthful, I think, which I could definitely use some of that. There was somebody reviewing this foundation. I'm not going to name names, but there was somebody reviewing this that was probably like 20 years old the other day. And she was talking about the foundation settling into lines. And I'm thinking to myself, settling into lines? You have lines at age 20? Oh boy, you're going to be in trouble when you get to be my age at 56. But yeah, so I don't know. That just, I was laughing because there aren't that many YouTubers that are older. So I do watch mostly younger people, I guess. I just watch who I like. I don't necessarily watch people because of their age. I just, if I like somebody or like something about their videos, I watch them. But I don't really watch that many people overall, though. because there is very little time in the day. And on that note, we're at the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, and not jabber on about things or, do the rest of my makeup and come back and talk some more. Let's just leave it at that. You can see that this is pretty good coverage, covers everything that I want it to cover. I've got a nice even distribution of cover. It's easy to blend if you move quickly, but use a brush and not a sponge, and I think you'll like it. So if you have any questions, let me know, and thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.